It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. So light sales. Here's like my understanding of like I own a business that does holiday lighting. It's been a while since I've been out in the field.
Gotcha.
But as we've grown that business, and we don't go like balls to the walls in lighting, nothing like what you guys do. We try to like keep a flux to have a bank of business, but we haven't like grown as its own separate thing yet. But even to do like 100,000 of lights in revenue the last couple of years has been ridiculously hard. Not because there weren't customers, and hell, you could even say like, yeah, it was kind of hard to find employees maybe. But I think this is the one place. I mean, and supply chain was kind of goofy for a lot of things, but in this instance, like in addition to employees being hard to find, you couldn't find lights. They were on shipping containers somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And to get them, you had to like know somebody, probably do some sexual favors or, pay some bribes to government officials. I don't know. Again, I'm not into operations. I'm just saying things as a podcast host like I do, making some assumptions, uneducated assumptions. But that was like, there were so many people, and part of it now is can the light production keep up with the demand? Because the number of companies that I hear getting into lighting is astounding, right? Yep. Like it feels like a thing that's like doubling every year, the number of people that are doing holiday lighting, and landscape lighting is now like the next thing. But just even talking holiday lighting, the number of businesses like yours and mine that's doing that is astounding. Thanks to you telling everybody to do it and training them how to do it. That pie is getting huge, and it still can't fulfill all the demand for holiday lighting. It's like the more people you train to do holiday lighting installs, the more people are out there talking about it and selling it, the more consumers are like, holy shit, I can pay somebody to put those things on my house. And the number of people that don't flinch at 1,000 handle on a bid for a holiday light job blows my mind, because I even install the stuff and I'm just like, I wouldn't pay $1,000 to put lights on my house. I am a cheap ass, and I'm just not like most of our businesses. I'm not our client. I'm our bookkeeping client. I'd be a hell of a bookkeeping client. But for the home service business, I'm not our client. But man, like the number of people that need lights and the number of consumers that are trying to pay people to hang lights is growing so freaking fast. And the thing that, I think the problem you guys jumped in to solve was nobody can get their hands on any freaking lights anymore. Like the production cannot keep up with all of the demand not coming from more people loving Christmas, but coming from more people wanting an installer to professionally put lights up.
Yep. So that was 2 years ago was really bad, the year of COVID. Or I guess that would have been 2021 actually, I think was really bad. Was the year that was really, really bad. Yeah,
2020 there was still like enough lights hanging around.
Well, that, and there was already the ships, most of the stuff in the middle of COVID was already like produced and it was on the ships. Mm-hmm. So it was 2021 that was really, really bad and hard to get. And then that's when stuff got there really, 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 really late. Last year was a little bit better, but what got it last year was it cost like $25,000-$30,000 for each container just to land it. Well, now those prices are down. So now the actual prices of Christmas lights are going down because you only have to pay like $5,000 or $7,000 for the container versus $25,000 to $30,000.
Let me stop you there, because so I remember talking to Matt Hayden from Clippa last year. I don't remember what time of year it was, but we got into like the shipping container problem. What was it before COVID? Where did it like settle out at its peak, and then now it sounds like it's back to 7? You said?
Yeah, it used to be like $2,000. It used to be like really cheap. Yeah, before COVID, and then COVID hit, and it creeped up to like 36,000 was like the high. Average was about 25, 30 last year.
I don't know if creeped is the right adjective. I would say like skyrocketed.
It jumped, yeah.
Bombasted, fucked everybody over up to $36,000. Yeah.
And then now it's about 5. You might get up to 7. You might find a little lower, cheaper. It just really depends what port you're going into and how far it's coming from. But So, that's kind of where it was at. So last year was really high, but stuff got in a little quicker last year. There's a couple things that got held up, and then when it got held up, it wasn't coming. It was in port. So if you went into Port of Los Angeles, California, they just move at their own pace. They're in the Port of Los Angeles, like they're snails, and so a lot of people are putting in other ports.
It is in California.
And then the trucks can only use new trucks. You can't. They have a ban on old trucks. So there's only like, what was it? Something like, I don't know the exact number, but it was like something like only 65% of the trucks in the U.S. can go into California because that's what the other ones are too old. So then you couldn't find drivers to go pick up the loads. So that was the bottleneck. So like when it got to port, like literally one of our containers sat at the port for like 3.5 weeks before it got shipped out. So they're like, hey, it's landed. I'm like, sweet. And then I'm like, hey, when's it moving? When's it moving? When's it moving? When's it moving? And then finally they're like, okay, they finally signed off on it. I'm like,
you're like, damn it, I'm going to get a rig. I'm coming out. I'm getting the tractor, get that trailer. I'm coming to get my box. Let's go.
Yeah. So it was just, that's the hard thing. And then, like knowing where to go, and you get the cheaper price if you get whole containers versus if you just get like, smaller number quantities and stuff. So, it's that's where some people are like, I'll just go and get it myself. I'm like, well, if you're doing a couple $100,000 in lights, it's not worth it. Like, no. You need to be doing millions of dollars in lights to make it worth it, because each container, just say roughly, is probably, depending on what's in it, $150,000 to $300,000 worth of material.
Yeah,
depending on what you're.
Not you need to be not just doing $1 million in lights. You need to be doing $1 million in new lights.
Yeah, new lights. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're doing $1 million in holiday lights, a lot of that $1 million is stuff you've already done, so you don't need a shipping container. So it's yeah, like a lot of companies are growing by 100 to 300,000 per year in lighting, but that's still, like you said, that's not enough growth to warrant a damn box full of lights. Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one, or check out this one, and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.